The separatist agenda. If there ever was an evil tyranny, this is it. This is what upholds and maintains the illusion and all the pain and suffering that goes with it. It's everywhere. It's permeated the entire globe. People are looking for the enemy somewhere outside of themselves, and this is the exact fallacy. You want to look at the enemy? Then turn around and take a look within. You are part of the separatist agenda and therefore contributing to the problem. Don't point your finger at other people because you are guilty of the exact same mindset as they are. People absolve themselves from responsibility by clinging to aspects of the separatism. They align themselves with what is defined as good or right or moral, and feel they are part of the solution, when in fact these distinctions are helping to perpetuate the very thing they imagine themselves as fighting against. Take a look around. It's apparent everywhere you look. People hesitate to be helpful and compassionate unless they have interests or something to gain. This is why altruism has been twisted into more selfishness, because, after all, people are only altruistic for selfish reasons, right? This is what has given birth to such extreme demented perversions, such as the virtues of selfishness. Everything mankind denounces and is opposed to, he himself lends to sustaining by approving and supporting other things that have been established as different and separate. It's the game of distinctions that keeps everything divided. Just take a look at what we call Japan, the distinguished region that was affected by a massive earthquake and tsunami. It's Japan's devastating tragedy, right? It's Japan's nuclear crisis, right? Send aid to these other people. We must help them. It's not our problem, but we can help them with their problem. Maybe people will start getting the message as nuclear rainfall and other byproducts of the tragedy start spreading across the globe. The very fact that Japan was devastated in such a manner should be seen as an ill omen. Japan is one of the finest civilizations on the planet today. What happened was not Japan's catastrophe, but a global catastrophe. One of the biggest reasons why there is such strife and suffering in the world is because of otherization. What is otherization? This is the incessant need people have of distinguishing themselves from so-called others, with superficial inventory items that, in reality, mean absolutely nothing and are by no means a definition of what a person actually is. Of course, these superficial traits have been distinguished, and because of this, people gather together in groups based on similarities, and from this standpoint, the otherization of all those who are dissimilar or unfamiliar become otherized. The fact of the matter is, we are all one. This is the undeniable fact. Bottom line, when you strip away all the superficial attachments people have associated themselves with and cling to, what is left is awareness. This is what we ultimately are. All awareness is equal, so every form of sentient life is equal. A man is no better than a cockroach. An extraterrestrial is no better than a man. Anyone that tells you different based on exterior factors that are unrelated to spirit or awareness is a liar and has some agenda. As long as the spirit clings to the flesh, there will be distinctions that will divide people, and there is no way to harmonize in this context. Relations will always be rocky because people have the need to self-importantly define themselves as something, and this, intentionally or inadvertently, casts others as something to struggle against. This is the problem. It's not anything else. We talk about the battle of the sexes. Women and men can't get along. Men are from Mars and women are from Venus. Misogynists, feminists, women's rights, men's groups, the fairer sex, the weaker sex, the stronger sex. It's men's fault because of ABC. It's women's fault because of XYZ. All bullshit. You are not a sex. We talk about racism. The so-called different races cannot live in peace and harmony. There are differences called cultures which must challenge and fight one another because of separateness. Who came first? Who contributed what? Who wronged who? Inherent alignments, pure bloodlines, pure genes. Who is the victim? Who is the oppressor? This race is ABC. That race is XYZ. All bullshit. You are not a race. It doesn't matter what the superficial attribute is, whether gender, sexuality, race, religion, bloodlines, politics, or anything else. These are all dividing lines, the substance of separatists. This is what is at the root of it all, separatism. The denial of oneness and wholeness to reinforce the idea of individuality and groupings. The group is the closest the separatists will come to any kind of idea of a whole, but even within this we are still defined as individuals within the group. The group is mainly used as clout, to fight other groups and to identify with a representation that we feel proud and familiar with. It's all desperate attachments to create an illusionary insulation from the whole. When we begin to cling to definitions of what defines us, then by default this automatically casts projections of things we reject and do not define as ourselves. But both are lies. We are not specific discriminations of what we use to identify ourselves, just as we are not separate or outside of that which we reject and call not me. The truth is we are all of it, but at the same time we are none of it. We are a whole, yes, but that's it. The whole is a whole of awareness. All the imaginations of what we are and what we're not are just imagination. And the imagination can sure come up with some pretty fantastic stuff. People have taken Authorization to a whole new level. Not only are we attached to the created profiles of the ego and the constructed superficial identities we associate ourselves with, but we also have the need to further authorize by creating fiction that divides people even further. It's a denial mechanism, grandiose self-importance, and deep-seated greed. This is why you hear ridiculous fantasies being thrown around aimed at extreme demonization. There's not just bad people in the world. No, they are monsters. By suggesting they are monsters, we are indirectly trying to say that we are something better, that we are not capable of what they are capable of, that we are somehow above and beyond these monsters. The easiest method of this type of authorization is to simply cast others as devils. But this demonization has kind of become outmoded in our modern world. So nowadays, people love to associate others with being connected to animals, which is supposed to explain their evil ways. Yes, certain men are bad because they are descendants of dogs, or pigs, or insects, or rats, or reptiles. That's the favorite one, isn't it? The reptilian. It just goes to show how unintelligent, self-important, and superstitious we still are. The first fallacy is the assumption that mankind is somehow better than animals, that we are more important or above them, which is an egotistical lie. We suffer the same and die the same. Mankind's discriminations and distinctions are the only thing that believes such to be so. In actuality, there is no difference. All mortal life is equal. There are different levels of consciousness, such as instinct, self-awareness, and outside awareness, but these things do not make certain life forms more equal than others. No more than an adult is not more equal than a child. The second fallacy is the idea that certain animals are of lower quality than others. Yes, we extend our discriminating distinctions, authorization, and scales of more and less equal into the animal kingdom too. So rats, pigs, cockroaches, and reptiles are disgusting, dirty, and undesirable, while cats, dolphins, peacocks, and butterflies are pleasing, clean, and desirable. It all adds up to a big pile of bullshit. Mankind needs to come to grips with himself. Men are evil because they have defiled spirits due to conditions. This is all that it is. And you, given the right circumstances, are capable of the same evil. All sentient life is awareness. If you strip away everything, the name, the location, the species, the organism, what is left is awareness. Any given unit of awareness is capable of a variety of behaviors, both good and bad, depending on various circumstances and conditions. The superficial traits that accompany these behaviors and actions are not the source or creator of these items. The condition of a man's spirit is what determines his actions. A defiled spirit is what causes a man to kill, be greedy, steal, and rape, not because he is a reptilian with some otherworldly agenda. But what's funny is that the strongest proponents of these superstitious science fiction conspiracies are no different than the opponents that they are trying to otherize. It's a tactic to demonize the government, the rich, and the elites as reptilians to better rally people against them. After all, they are monsters, different from us, and they must be stopped. And what do you suppose would happen if an anti-reptilian group got its way? Do you think anything would be any different? It would simply be a new group of people, a different clique, with maybe a slightly different system, but the same bullshit would be in place. Same greed in the hands of a different group of power-hungry people. But this is why the tactic is used. People don't want to get rid of greed. They want to get rid of a reptilian. We don't want to give up deception. Better to get rid of those devils over there. People don't want to give up power. Better to fight against the evil aliens that are plotting to take over the world. It's all denial and avoidance. On a related note, there's a new theory out. that all you witch hunters are probably not going to like and not feel comfortable with. And that's that the real devils, the real pigs, the real reptilians are those that accuse others of being such. Put that in your pipe and smoke it. But many will say, hey, we're trying to fight the good fight here. There are monsters out there preying on us, and all we are trying to do is fight against them. It is a noble cause, a righteous endeavor. There's a couple of things you gotta realize. First is, even if there are devils out there, there are reptilians out there, you have to realize that they are not evil per se, and that they, just like you, are part of the whole. The predator-prey paradigm is part of duality. There is no solution to this within duality. There's nothing to fight against or to eliminate or to overthrow. It's part of the paradigm. For so long as one lingers in duality, the predator-prey paradigm will always be in effect. Any predator that you eliminate, 10 more will step up and take its place. So stop trying to fix the duality. If you're uncomfortable with this predator-prey situation, the answer is not found in eliminating predators. The answer is found in moving into non-duality. If you don't like a paradigm, then get out of the paradigm. But of course, people don't want to do that, because whether they admit it or not, they themselves are predators. You don't think so? What do you eat? How do you sustain yourself? No matter how you slice it, in duality, you sustain yourself on others, and others sustain themselves on you. You don't like that? Well, that's fine, it's understandable, but there's no way for you to fix it. The only thing you can do is remove yourself from the situation. So please spare us the witch hunts. Want to make the world a better place? Then get rid of the reptilian in yourself. Don't look to fight the devils and pigs surrounding you. Fight the devil and the pig in yourself. You don't need to protect yourself from otherworldly monsters. The monster is within yourself. Start looking within yourself. Any and everything that you don't like about so-called other people can be found within yourself. If it's not inside you, it cannot appear around you. If you'd only wake up or become lucid in your awareness, you would see that it's all your creative imagination. But we're usually too busy on the inside looking out, never giving any attention to the outside looking in. All the imaginations you have come up with, the person you are, the country you reside in, the religion you believe in, the world you live in, the universe where all of this is taking place, are all dreamed up imaginations of a total awareness. None of these things are what you are. They are all but a storyline your awareness has associated itself with. But that's all it is, an association. You are not a person. You do not come from a country. You are not of a religion. You do not live in a world, and there is no universe. Look within and accept the whole. There is no separation, and therefore nothing to otherize. It's all within yourself, and there is no other than yourself responsible.